Welcome back to the Changing Earth podcast with author Sarah F. Hathaway and co-host Chen Gibson. Blending survival, fiction, and fact to bring you entertaining education that will help you dream, survive, and thrive. And now, here's your host, Sarah F. Hathaway and Chen Gibson.
Hello, and welcome back to the Changing Earth podcast. This is episode number 476, and I'm running solo tonight. There's nobody here with me tonight, just Sarah on the mic, and I want to do some clearinghouse first, but I have some special announcements for this evening, and it's just been an interesting ride, so let's jump into it. Episode 13 of the Changing Earth audio drama is live now. And you're definitely going to want to catch up on your listening and listen to that episode because it is really the game changer. And I don't want to give too much away. Everybody's been like, shh, don't tell us anymore. Don't tell us anymore. It's one of the downsides, I guess, of knowing the author. So, yeah, you want to check that out. And we've got to run all the way to episode 16, and then we're going to be doing some really, really fun stuff with the audio drama. I'm working on revamping season 1, so it's just up to snuff, and we'll be having a lot of fun with that podcast in the upcoming months here. Also, of course, Prepper Camp tickets are available. I already got my campsite reserved. You guys should be doing the same because it is an event you don't want to miss. And we're just going to pray that we don't have another hurricane come in on our doorstep this year, which was a little interesting. It still blows my mind to think about when everybody's talking about Helene and just how massive it was and everything, that like I was in a trailer in the middle of all that. It's just crazy. So, yeah, Prepper Camp tickets are on sale. And you should be picking them up now. They are never going to be less expensive than they are right now. So I'll get on that. So I'm just going to do a quick show today. I wanted to do a Changing Earth update because there's a lot going on our planet right now. Some incredible historic stuff that seems to be just getting glanced over by the media, and nobody's really putting this all together. They're still trying to go with like their fear mongering of what's going on instead of, I mean, it's scary enough what's really happening. Maybe that's why they have this false story, because they don't really want people to understand what's happening with our planet, but definitely worth coming on tonight and giving y'all some Changing Earth news. So I'm going to be taking a hiatus from the Changing Earth podcast. And circumstances before had caused me to think about stopping the show years ago. And this gentleman that I knew as a fan and a friend back then stepped up to the plate and said, "What do you need to keep it going?" And I said, "A co-host." And he's been my co-host for years and become my brother in life. And I just cannot thank Chen Gibson enough for everything that he's done for me. This show takes a lot of time, and we spend every Sunday of our lives getting ready and then, having to make special plans to make sure we're available to do the show. And he has given every Sunday for his life for years to the show. And I just appreciate him and his efforts and having him by my side so much. Like I say, he's become my absolute brother in life, and just a wonderful, wonderful man. And he's the type of guy that would never ask anything of you, but if he ever does, boy, you better show up to the plate, because he is amazing and would give you the shirt off his back. So I can't thank him enough for all the years that Chen has put into the podcast and really keeping the Changing Earth going, because this day would have come a lot earlier had he not stepped up to the plate. So really, really appreciate that, and just want him to know how much I do value not only what he did, but our relationship that we've developed because of doing this show together. So shout out to my brother, Chen Gibson. He couldn't be here tonight because of the weather that's coming into South Carolina right now, changing Earth, right? So we're going to do one more show next Sunday. It will not be a live cast because, everything's changing with the hosting platform that PBN uses. And obviously you've seen the new live shows coming up on Twitter and on Rumble. And I could get involved and go that direction, but I thought this was a good time. The Lord was just kind of tapping on my shoulder, telling me that there's other places that I need to go and put my focus right now. And so that, I've got to listen to what the Lord commands me to do. And I'm really feeling that calling right now. I really want to get out and be able to teach self-defense and be able to help other people that way. And it's really tough when I have the podcast, and my Sundays are wrapped up. And also my family, I'll never have these moments again. So it's time to be able to spend a little bit more time with them as well. And it just, the schedule doesn't seem to give at all. I do a lot, training MMA, training, 4 or 5 days a week. And then I haven't had time to get back out into the woods, and it's time to go camping. And we got the trailer now and just memories to be made out there. So the audio drama will continue. Like I say, I'm working on some exciting stuff with it right now, and then we're going to be rolling into season 5. That's already ready to go and on the burner. It's almost all the way written already. So the audio drama will continue. I encourage you to go there, like it, share it. The PBN community just stepped up so hard, and everybody has a great time putting it together. And to see the evolution of all the performers and whatnot, it's really magical. So I really appreciate all of my friends that stepped up to that plate. Everybody does it out of goodness of their heart, and nobody makes any money with that show. We just do it for fun. And it takes up a lot of time for me, but it's definitely a labor of love because I love bringing my story to life and sharing all of the essential survival information that's in there and just getting your wheels really turning as far as scenarios you need to think about and be prepared for and what that world might look like in comparison to what we live in now. So the audio drama is a labor of love, and it will continue on. Also, we'll be doing, it's not like you're never going to hear from me again. We'll be doing Changing Earth updates. I'll try to do a Changing Earth update probably monthly just to keep the Changing Earth news flowing, keep this in your guys' mind, let you know like what the volcanic pictures and stuff look like because, you don't always go out and check that stuff out. But there's lots of interesting things that are happening on our planet right now, and it just doesn't seem to get the headlines that other things do unless it's like Hurricane Helene or something like that. And those are extreme, radical things that are happening as well. But there's so much happening that just not being talked about. So I will continue to do Changing Earth updates for you guys. And then I was also thinking about putting together some information, maybe even possibly videos. I really hate being on video, but I would love to teach you guys more about self-defense and making sure that the ladies in your life and you are protected. And elderly people as well. They think, oh man, I can't defend myself anymore. But you can. And there was ways to do that. You just have to know, and you have to train, and you have to practice. So I'll start, trying to get some videos up of basic boxing and then kicking and stuff like that, things that you could be training on easily at your own home. I do go technically to an MMA school to learn, to train with an instructor there, but 90% of my workout is in my garage with just one heavy bag that's on a stand, some basic weights, and some mats, so there's so much that can be done that you don't have to go to a school for. Although, I've been training martial arts for over 20 years and I still value an instructor. I still like to have somebody there who has skills, who can watch what you're doing, correct you, and teach you things that you never thought about. My instructor right now is an amazing guy. And what he's teaching me is to remove all of my sports information that's been kind of conditioned into my body, so you don't hit as hard, you don't go through your targets, this kind of thing, because, everybody's got to go to work tomorrow. So he's teaching me to remove a lot of that so you're just really a deadlier machine when you're out there, when you're really put to the test. So I do recommend that you get out and find a school that works for you. Find an instructor that you really jive with. I mean, there's tons of people out there teaching martial arts, but there's so much that can be done just in your garage, your space anyway. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can't get some of that information out to you. But there's so much that needs to be done with marketing, and I'm pushing into the land of Hollywood, and so looking at career changes and stuff like that. Just 2025 is going to be an exciting time for me, and I really think it's time to free up my Sundays. Basically, I love doing my show. I love hearing all the feedback from you guys out there. It's amazing. And so I have a little list of like what my podcast has meant to me. And it has been an epic, epic, epic journey. This time when I'm taking my hiatus, I'm doing it with a smile on my face rather than a tear in my eye, because it has been so incredible to come on this journey for 8 years now. And I just can't really put it into words. It's been discipline. It has taught me hard work. It has taught me perseverance. And it has really, really just crafted the person that I am today by hosting the podcast. So as you know, you've heard from me and changed your life and got all these great tips. You guys have also been changing my life. And so it's been great. Number one thing that I have taken away from my podcast is that I have met so many incredible lifelong friends that I now consider family. Chin, Ellen, these are people I can't replace. James, Dave, Doug, Dale. I mean, the list just goes on and on. Jane and Rick and Double Dales, it's just so many people that I would never have known. I would never have got the opportunity to connect with. And I value their friendships so much. God has just blessed me with an amazing cast of characters for my friends. And so that brings a tear to my eye. And that is my number one thing that I have achieved by hosting my podcast, is developing these incredible relationships. So I can't thank everybody who's been on my show, everybody who made this happen. You know absolutely who you are. But there are some that definitely stand above, and you know who you are. And I love you guys and appreciate you having you in my life. All right, second thing. I have learned so much as far as preparedness, wilderness survival, gun skills, canning, homesteading skills, just all of this incredible information, hours and hours of personalized training with incredible professionals. Just what an opportunity, to be able to sit down and talk with people like James Yeager and just individuals from James Hart and Doug Hogan and Doug Huffman and so many people that have come on the show. My father-in-law was on the show, and I have all that audio, and my martial arts instructors and Skip Buck and people that really, really made a huge difference in my life. And I have them forever captive in audio, basically. So it's just been an incredible experience to be able to have that one-on-one time, to be able to learn from those people, to be able to ask them candid questions and get that time that typically you'd have to pay a lot of money for to have them with a one-on-one, session and training time. So that has been just incredible. There are so many awesome shows that we have put together over the years with so much information that is just survival essentials, whether you're going hiking, whether you're going to survive the cold snap that's coming, how to stay cold, how to stay cool if you lose it in the summer. I mean, just so much, how to sharpen a knife and how to fight with a knife. And just so much just critical information that we've gathered over the years that's all there in a huge library of info. So that has been amazing as well. I love to learn, and what an opportunity to learn. So I do have to say that's been really, really valuable. Just money can't make up. There's no amount of money I could pay for that experience. And then my third and final thing would be that I have archived about 8 years of my life. Journeys that I went through, struggles I was on, things I was feeling, what was going on politically, what was going on with our earth, things like that, if anything were to happen to me, my children have access to hours and hours and hours of knowing who I was. And so that's really the other thing that I value very much, that, all that time, all that energy, all those Sundays were worth it, because what a gift to be able to give to my kids, my grandkids, as long as the audio stays preserved, which, I do my best to do, everything will be there for them. And that's really amazing. So the last thing on my list is all of you. I mean, you've come along on this incredible journey with me, and I have fans that reach out to me that, reached out to me year one and were there for me. Oh, you're going on a road trip. I'm going to alert the truckers across the country and make sure you're okay. And just these amazing people that I've got to meet because of the podcast. So really, really appreciate you guys very, very much. Well, that's all I got for right now. Like I said, we will do one more scheduled Sunday show next Sunday, because Chin really wanted to do one more show and be able to, have a farewell moment. And so we'll definitely do next Sunday as well. But then after that, like I say, it's just going to be more sporadic, and we'll see what happens. But I just can't bank every Sunday of my life and a production of the show. But I'll definitely keep you updated. I promise I'll keep you updated on what's going on. And always on my website, there's tons of information. You can contact me that way. I love hearing from you guys. So if you ever have just like a question, hey, I would love to, get Sarah's opinion on that. Please don't hesitate to reach out. I try to answer my emails right away. I'm not like a snobby person or something that's like, oh, I'm too cool for this or whatever. Nah, I'm just Sarah, and we're all children of God, and I love to help you out. So whatever you need and whatever your thoughts are, I'm here and I'm available. Definitely that way. All right, let's go ahead and get into some Changing Earth news.
Dream, survive, thrive. This is Changing Earth News.
All right, Changing Earth news. Actually, before we do the Changing Earth news, let's listen to some Pack Fresh USA, because this was a really, really quality product. And they were generous enough to hook a lot of us up with their product, and it's a sealing system for preserving. And I tell you what, I had a bag of rice. I've been screwing up the rice. We'll just put it that way. And those of you who have tried to preserve rice, you know exactly the trials I'm going through. But the Pack Fresh, can bag it up that way, take the oxygen out, boom. It is the savers. So let's listen to them real quick.
Food storage and preservation are at the heart of self-reliance. Our sponsor, Pack Fresh USA, features Made in America products. I shop PackFreshUSA.com for Mylar bags and oxygen absorbers for my home food storage. But they do all kinds of products. Go to PackFreshUSA.com and check out their Prepper University and order their box set of Mylar bags and oxygen absorbers. It's a 7 mil 100 pack of Mylar bags, oxygen absorbers, labels, and even a food storage guide.
All right, now let's do some Changing Earth news. So there was an X-class flare this morning. It needs further analyzation for an impact forecast, so we're just keeping eyes on that. Pretty big solar flare that went off, though, this morning. Big storm yesterday in the south. It is now headed east and keeping my buddy Chin from coming on the show. Last week, because I was on doing the Christmas episode with James last week, and we did the binge episode of the Changing Earth audio drama. So last week, there was a 7.3 magnitude earthquake in Vanuatu. Lots of damage. 12 people lost their lives in that event. There was many more earthquakes after that. Vanuatu is always scary for me because it's usually where the deep impact earthquakes happen, and then it scrambles around the Ring of Fire and up through the globe. So definitely was interesting to see all that activity last week and then still continue into this week. And it wasn't just deep earthquakes. It did surface damage as well. So we've got eyes on for sure. I am concerned about the Ring of Fire. I am not going to lie. There's something crazy going on in the Pacific right now. So major cold anomaly is forecasted to impact the eastern part of the United States in January. The target's going to be directly on Tennessee. I've heard this both on, I guess, more tinfoil hatty type news sources, as well as weather forecasters that are like, this is crazy. We haven't seen, something like this that's going to come in and impact. Bottom line is, I was here in Texas when we got the big freeze, and the people here are just not used to big freeze at all. And lots of things went wrong because the homes aren't built for it, that kind of thing. So this is supposed to pretty much bullseye over Tennessee, and then it'd be a big wide berth from there all the way down like towards my house here in eastern Texas. So it's going to encompass a lot of the country. And the big question is going to be about power, because will the power plants be able to keep up? Will they be able to get enough power in to keep houses warm, that kind of thing. So better to be safe than sorry, always. Better to be too much prepped than not prepped enough in the moment. And so you have this window of opportunity to be able to get ready for this event. And hopefully these forecasts change, but it's looking like it's, pretty darn close to, day after tomorrow type scenario, the beginning at least, where it started getting really cold. So I would definitely be ready for this event, guys. Like, this is no joke. I have an article that's all on how to stay warm with the no power when it's cold. There's all kinds of heating systems you can make that are safer than bringing a generator inside. Don't bring your generator inside. There's all kinds of things you can do to help your house be warmer, all the way down to putting a tent up in your family room so that you can be in a smaller space, keeping just that space warm. So it's going to be very, very important that you guys prepare, and I wanted to give you a warning on that one coming up. All right, Monday, 12/23/24, there was 388 earthquakes, 2.0 or bigger, biggest of which was a 6.1 earthquake in Cuba. Caused some major damage down there. Big rumbler. Not the biggest that Cuba's seen, but it was a big one. Switzerland was buried in a snowstorm. Major snowfall. They've already been having these Arctic anomalies dipping down into Spain, into Italy. And so Europe's already really dealing with this. We had one anomaly come through that wasn't as bad, but it didn't really have a precipitation event with it, whereas Europe, Southern Europe, is getting affected by the precipitation events with this cold anomaly. So on the 24th, Christmas Eve, there was 392 earthquakes that were 2.0 or bigger, biggest of which was a 5.9 in Argentina. There was a strong storm with ocean surges that caused a 100-foot section of the Santa Cruz Pier in California to collapse. 3 people fell into the ocean in that event. They were okay. 2 of them were rescued by the Coast Guard. 1 swam to shore. So everyone was okay, but they lost a big chunk of that pier, which just shows you that Pacific Ocean is angry right now. It is moving. They want to blame it on ocean level rise. And I take stock in just a tiny bit of the ocean level rise theory. I'm leaning more towards the belief of land sink theory. So it's really easy for us to believe that like, oh, the Rockies are still growing. So it shouldn't be impossible for us to believe that certain areas are actually sinking. Like Indonesia used to be a big area that was connected to Asia. And now it's only islands down on the bottom. Now, whether that's just because the ocean level rise or land sink. Also, the glaciers used to come down really, really far in over Michigan. And so they think because of the glaciers receding, the land is sponging back up. So the land's growing. It goes up and down. It's a breathing planet. And I tend to lean more towards the side of some kind of a sinking of the land going on, which is also has, it stays in line with Edgar Cayce's prediction of what happens to the West Coast, which is what I put into the Changing Earth series as far as the map goes, where, that western coast of California has actually sloughed off and fallen into the ocean. So, God forbid anything like that were to happen. It would be absolutely devastational. But we have to understand we are on a planet. It's not just a rock, it is moving. So, for example, down in Brazil this last week, there was 2 bridges that just collapsed. Nothing like water hitting it or whatever. It's because that top crustal layer of our planet is in motion right now. And, people have different theories, can say what they want about everything. They try to take it as like isolated events, like modern doctors. They're just going to treat your symptoms, not the overall person. They don't understand that like, oh, this could be related to that over there. So they're not looking at really full picture. They're just looking at symptoms. And the pole shift is going on right now. We've talked about the magnetic frequencies, this magnetic wave that's already affected all of the other planets in the solar system. And we're just like thinking that we're going to be all immune here and we can control everything. And we don't understand that we're on the Lord's planet that he made to be an organism of life, not just a rock spinning around out in space. Okay, sorry, squirrel. So, deadly flooding impacted Haiti, 500 homes destroyed, 11,000 buildings flooded, something that country does not need. They are already in dire straits enough as far as dealing with natural disasters all the time. Severe snowstorm impacted Bosnia and Herzegovina. So that's, Southern Europe. That's that Arctic front coming in. On the 25th of December, there was 464 earthquakes that were 2.0 or bigger, biggest of which was a 5.6 in the South Pacific Ocean near Fiji. In Luzon in the Philippines, rains brought flooding, inundated homes there. British Columbia was hit with a major storm and wind event. Japan was buried by a snowstorm. Mount Kilauea. This was actually on Christmas Eve. Mount Kilauea in Hawaii roared back to life with some violent eruptions. So another volcano going off. Thursday, 12/26, 444 earthquakes that were 2.0 or bigger, biggest of which was I'm sorry, that was not accurate. 444 earthquakes that were 2.0 or bigger, biggest of which was in the North Pacific Ocean. It was like a 5-pointer. I didn't write down the exact number. There was an earthquake cluster that impacted Puerto Rico and the Cayman Islands, and Abruzzo, Italy was impacted by a major snowstorm. On the 27th of December, there was 455 earthquakes that were 2.0 or bigger, biggest of which was a 6.8 in the Sea of Okhotsk in Russia. Hail and snowstorms spawned from a powerful system stretching from Louisiana to Arkansas. So this is when the storm is beginning. There was tornadoes already impacting in Houston. Up at my house, we didn't really see like a lot of the rain till the Saturday evening started coming. Northern California has been impacted by another atmospheric river with rain, wind, and a snow event there. On Saturday, 12/28, there was 415 earthquakes that were 2.0 or bigger, biggest of which was a 5.5 in the South Pacific Ocean near Fiji. There was flash flooding in Singapore after a major rainstorm. Major storm impact on East Texas to Alabama, even into Georgia. They were talking about tornadoes touchdown there. Severe wind, heavy rain. I mean, severe wind. Trucks just shredded out on the highways and that. At least 2 people were killed. 6 people were injured in that event. They did have tornado touchdowns. Wild storm also smashed Sydney, Australia. They just haven't been able to catch a break lately. Took down trees and power lines. And then December 29th, 2024, that is today, there was 382 earthquakes that were 2.0 or bigger, biggest of which was a 4.9 in Ethiopia. There was a rare 2.9 earthquake in Defiance County, Ohio. So I'm thinking like, okay, it's got to be Southern Ohio, right? Because New Madrid fault, I mean, that's kind of up. So it was in northeastern Ohio, which, yeah, the New Madrid's running up through there, or not the New Madrid, the North American Craton. The line goes up right by Lake Erie and Lake Ontario over there. So it's in the realm of that fault line moving, but how weird and rare to see it in northern Ohio. There was also a 4.1 earthquake in Quebec, which is in Ontario, which is just, you know, if you go along the line of where the Craton would be, you're following it. So that is definitely the North American Craton in motion. And that's that energy that came in through Vanuatu. It's going to hit, go around the Pacific, and then come into the North American Craton. There was 13-foot waves impacting the coast of Peru. And the waves weren't just Peru. Before that, it was impacting countries further north. So you really got to get on YouTube and look at some of these major waves. The fishermen that have been there for years, they know where to park their boats and everything when heavy wave. They just got destroyed. Just like they were tanker toys out there. It was absolutely incredible. That is happening today where it hit Peru. Some major activity going on. And so people, I'm just going to reiterate one more time. They were like, ocean level rise. Well, great. Then why is it happening in some areas and not in others? It is the actual tilt of the planet moving that's causing the oceans to do weird things. We're in the time that they're talking about, this having a major impact. We're building on it. Nothing's going to get easier from here on out. So you've got to stay aware of what's happening on the changing earth and where you are and how agile you are to be able to move and, adapt to what's going on our planet. That's going to be the key. Severe storms, those ones are headed to the southeastern part of the United States. So everybody stay safe over there in South Carolina and on our eastern coast. As far as volcanoes, the numbers have just not gone down at all. Still 38 volcanoes erupting. 35 were up one, showing minor activity. We looked at this 2 weeks ago. So same amount erupting. We're up one on the minor activity. And 24 showing unrest. That's a down one. So the numbers haven't changed. We still have 97. They're just moving up into the active region. And if you look at the map of the erupting volcanoes, it is crazy. The Ring of Fire is just going off like everywhere in the Ring of Fire in the Pacific, Hawaii included in the bullseye of the Ring of Fire, except for the coast of Canada and the west coast of Canada and the west coast of the United States. Those are the only areas where there's no volcanic activity happening. It is so weird that it's not happening there because it's happening everywhere else. So, my money's still on it's eventually going to come to the West Coast. That would be my best bet. I've never seen activity like this. I can't explain it. And it just seems to be ramping up more and more, not going the other way. So I would be very, very vigilant if I was on the West Coast of California or Oregon, Washington, and then even up into Canada. They've been having weird earthquakes up there now, even in Canada. So definitely eyes on that situation. As far as wildfires, we're wet here in the United States. There are 2 new fires, but they're both contained Number 1 reporting in is Arizona with 1 fire, 928 acres. That one's not contained. California and Florida are both reporting 1 fire, but the fire is contained. They don't even have an acreage marker on it. So there you guys go. Changing Earth News. December 29th, 2024. Like I said, we will be back next week. We will have a regular show. And then after that, like I said, it'll just be updates until I can get a few more projects taken care of. And, there's always a future out there. We'll see what happens. But just wanted to come on and give you guys that update. If you need to stay connected, ChangingEarthSeries.com. Actually, I'd love for you to stay connected. ChangingEarthSeries.com. I'm basically on Twitter the most. If you want to tag me on a social media platform, I'm not really ever on Facebook. I do have stuff there, but I'm not really ever there. Twitter, you can tag me at Sarah Hathaway 19. You can send a direct email. You can send me messages on YouTube. And that's the hub of activity there. ChangingEarthSeries.com. It's ChangingEarthSeries.com. All right, guys. Well, I hope you had a wonderful holiday. And like me, you are looking forward to a spectacular 2025. Do not let your preparedness items, your action list, slip from your eyes. I'm getting ready to go rip down my go bag and put it together again because I have more stuff from Christmas and I have more areas to actually put stuff from Christmas. So, don't lose focus there. It's always got to be on the back of your mind. You've always got to be preparing no matter what each day is bringing you. And, for me, I've got to keep the Lord there at the forefront as well and make sure my eyes are staying focused and I have my light at the gate for the Lord Jesus when he comes. So if you believe like I do, stay vigilant in your faith and just keep rocking it. I look forward to hearing from you all. Until next time, remember, dream, survive, thrive.
Thank you for joining Sarah and Chen for this episode of the Changing Earth podcast. Don't forget to pick up your copy of Day After Disaster, Without Land, The Walls of Freedom, Battle for the South, Dark Days in Denver, and The Endless Night at www.authorsarahfhathaway.com. If you love the Changing Earth series and podcast, become a supporter while you're there.